Have you ever lost weight? 1 stone, 2 stone, 3 stone, and then 6 months later, you're back to where you started? Most people assume, again, I don't know, the diet stopped working, or again, I just lost the weight, lost perhaps the motivation, it lost the sort of the willpower. In my experience, it's very little to do with the sort of the diet itself. It's more about what happens after the diet. Again, there's nothing. People just think the diet is the end. Like there's no sort of like plan after the diet. If this is you, you need to watch this video. I'm Alun. I've been in the industry 14 years and helped hundreds of guys just like you who've been in the same position, who are frustrated with their lack of progress, but now they've transformed and feel great. I've made it my mission to help as many guys as possible to turn that around and feel that for themselves too. If you want to achieve that kind of transformation, the roadmap to achieving those similar results is linked below in the description. It covers everything you need to know to start making changes instantly so you can start feeling and looking better within just 7 days. So the problem is, most people think of a diet as like a temporary project. Oh, I'll just lose this weight for sort of like 12 weeks. I just obviously, I'll diet myself for this period of time, whatever. I'll get down to this weight, and then I'll just sort of go back to normal. I'll ease off then. But again, like easing off and going back to normal is what got you to this, sort of made you gain the weight in the first place. So that's what obviously causes those you go back to those behaviors. That's what causes you to regain the weight. The first major mistake is thinking that when you reach that goal weight, it means you're done. And then they just stop and just go, oh yeah, I've got you. Whereas this is just the graduation. This is like the start now, because you have to like sustain it. This is where you need like the maintenance phase to sort of, okay, maintain this new weight. The second mistake is the rebound effect. So you've spent sort of perhaps weeks or months of like dieting, locked in, focused, perhaps with your training, like sort of like tightening up your food, things like that. And then as soon as this diet ends, again, the cracks start appearing. Again, you start sort of, you don't log as much food, you perhaps eat like out more, you have a bit more takeaways, you're a bit more sort of like just, oh, okay, I fancy this, or I'll have this. You allow yourself more food and like bigger portion sizes. Perhaps you might skip the gym. Okay, you would nail in the gym before, but now you perhaps just like just a few days a week instead of like nailing 4 with your steps. It's hit and miss, and then you lose some of the structure, you lose some of the urgency, you lose some of the routines, and you get more complacent. The third mistake is there's no maintenance plan. Like people have like sort of a weight loss plan, like with the training, with the nutrition, all these different things to lose the weight. But then once they've lost the weight, again, there's no plan. Then they're just like, how am I going to sustain this? How am I going to do this in the next 6 months, 12 months? Because like obviously they've reduced and dieted down, and just there's no way you can keep on doing that, like sort of and live sort of thing. This is why, again, perhaps you've dieted for a holiday, and then obviously as soon as the holiday comes, you stop. Again, you go on holiday, you enjoy yourself, and then after the holiday, there's no sort of planning, there's no progression, and you don't get back into anything. And that's where the weight sort of, again, just starts to creep back up. And again, because there's no sort of, okay, what do I do now? So what you should be asking yourself is, again, how do I sort of, like, what do I need to be eating now when it comes to a maintenance plan? Like, how much of the food should I be doing? Like I said, keeping on track with your training. Again, and focus more on performance goals in the gym. How am I going to manage, like, more holidays, more socials, like different things? Say we go into summer now. How am I going to navigate barbecues, days out, holidays, weekends, things like that? So the people who maintain their results, and what I do with my clients, firstly, we come to the end of the diet, then it's obviously having that sort of the maintenance sort of like plan laid out. So again, we know, okay, let's just slowly reverse food. Let's slowly start increasing it rather than jumping up and binging and just sort of eat more we want. That's where we balloon weight. Now we just obviously slowly increase the weight. We keep the same sort of structure and same sort of like urgency and everything. Keep the same routines that's got us there. And then we keep obviously increasing the food. And now it's like, okay, we're gradually increasing up so we can like hold that sort of that new weight, that new physique, but obviously with more food. And in this time, we're still training, and we're like with this sort of, we're focusing more performance, we're focusing on getting stronger in the gym, using this extra fuel now that we are sort of eating. We're perhaps eating 400, 600 more calories a day. Okay, use that towards training, use that for energy, use that for sort of like to make some PBs in the gym, get stronger, use that to bring up sort of like different body parts like your shoulders, your arms, your chest, things like that. This doesn't mean you just obviously have to keep on tracking for the rest of your life. No, again, we add in sort of like some untracked days and like sort of ease back from that. But again, it's just keeping some structure and some sort of like some routine, like when we initially come out of the diet, because that's when sort of people just regain the weight so quickly, and just sort of because your body's in a sort of a depleted state. So again, if we can just increase that rather than just returning out to the wild and binging, like sort of keeping some sort of structure, keep pushing, keep focused, and then it's like tackling sort of, okay, holidays, barbecues, days out, weekends, things like that, like in this new maintenance phase with the extra calories, and then keeping some of the, so obviously the structure with our gym, keeping the intensity there and the urgency there while training. So then like, okay, we maintain our weight, we sustain the sort of the weight loss, and then we can go into like a build phase, or we can go into like sort of another diet then, like later on. Because I bet the goal was never just to lose weight. You always wanted to keep it off, didn't you? You wanted to, that's why I hear all the time when I speak to people, it's just like, oh yeah, I just want to sort of, I want to be able to sustain it. I want to live like a healthy lifestyle. I want to lose sort of 10, 20 kilos. But again, just, you don't necessarily want to go back to where you are, do you? No, you want to keep it off. And this is the thing. This is like what, again, people want to be able to do this for years, live that healthy lifestyle, sustain this sort of progress, and live at this sort of like this new, okay, 20 kilos lighter, and just operate at this new identity, this new sort of, and keep this transformation. And this doesn't just come from the initial diet, it comes from the lifestyle and the plan that follows it, like how to sort of, okay, because you've become this new person now, okay, now we need to solidify this new identity. Now we need to sort of like, again, maintain this place and get used to this new thing, so we don't slide back to old habits. So if you've lost weight but always keep gaining it back, then obviously you need to reach out to me, and like sort of reach out to me on my Instagram, and just obviously have a chat about, and obviously what we talked about in this video about getting that sort of the maintenance plan in play. So then again, he's not constantly losing the same 5 to 10 kilos, and then 6 months later just, oh my god, and always starting over.